This is an instructional video for how to use Razor Renew to sharpen and smooth your knives. Well, how do you know which size of Razor Renew to use? Well, if you have a blade that has a cutting surface of 3 inches or less, like this one, Razor Renew short is fine. You can go from the base to the tip easily. However, if you have a knife that has a cutting surface of more than 3 inches like this one, as you can see, it's hard to go from the base to the tip effectively. So that's why we recommend Razor Renew long. So as you can see, you can go from the base to the tip easily with any size knife. We have both Razor Renews hanging. This is a very important concept. You must hang your Razor Renew to get the optimal sharpness and smoothness from your knife. Now we have a trigger snap and an 8-inch piece of Velcro. Between these two, you should have no problem finding a place to hang your Razor Renew. Now you'll notice when you're holding the handle and hanging Razor Renew how flexible the body is. Now this is very important because what it does is it allows you to push the blade of the knife far enough into the leather to where you get the optimal sharpness and smoothness. And another thing you'll notice is when you're holding the handle, it keeps the sharp blade away from your skin so you won't cut yourself. Now this is made out of premium cow leather, and you don't want to get this wet. If you get it wet and try to sharpen your knife, it will greatly decrease the effectiveness of the sharpness and smoothness of your knife. And also, you want to make sure your knife is clean and dry, because if you have any particles on the knife or part of the blade, there's a chance that that part of the blade is not going to get sharp and smooth. And you'll notice that I'm going opposite way I cut. So you want to go opposite way you cut up and down on the strop, because you don't want to damage your Razor Renew. Because on a stone, you go the way you cut. But if you're used to doing that, you just got to get in the habit of going opposite way you cut. Before we get into the actual demonstration of how to sharpen and smooth your knife with Razor Renew, let's talk about the benefits of using Razor Renew with your knives. Now, one of the biggest benefits is that Razor Renew is not going to take off any metal when you're using it, and it's not going to scratch your knife, which is a very good characteristic, because if you have a really expensive knife with a nice polish on it, you're not going to scratch your knife. And if you keep up with your Razor Renew, it's going to make your knife that much smoother and that much sharper. So we recommend, before each use, to touch it up with Razor Renew, or every other time. But keep in mind that if your knife actually gets dull, you still need to use a sharpening stone or a grinder. Now, in the demonstration, we're going to be going up and down a certain amount of times on each side, and that's specific to this knife. And you might need, with your knife is thicker or thinner or what have you, and just keep in mind that you might have to go a little bit more or a little bit less. Everybody's a little bit different. But for purposes of the demonstration, we're going to go up and down a specific amount of times. Now let's demonstrate how to use Razor Renew short to sharpen and smooth your smaller knives. So you always want to start out on the sueded side that sharpens and hones your blade. Now after you get it sharpened and honed, you still have the burr on the edge of the blade, so you want to smooth it out, so you want to go to the smooth side. Now keep in mind that your knife needs twice as much smoothing and polishing as it does sharpening and honing. So whatever amount of times you decide is best for your knife, just make sure you double it on the smooth side. So let's start out on the bottom here. You want to push firmly 15-25 degrees, draw the knife up opposite way you cut with it, up and across. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you flip it, you want to do the same amount on the other side. So you start at the top, push down firmly 15 to 25 degrees, and pull the knife down and across. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now it's sharp, but we want to get the burr off the edge. So you start at the bottom, and we want to do it twice as much. So we want to do 8 up and 8 down. So you start at the bottom, push firmly, 15 to 25 degrees, draw the knife up and across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let's flip it. Same amount of times on the other side. So press firmly, 15, 25 degrees, and let's go down and across. Pull it down and across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now your blade is sharp and